it's your turn. One day, life is going to look at you and ask, now what? It won't care how scared you are. It won't care that you weren't ready. It won't care about your plans, because life never waits for permission. Read that again. Life doesn't destroy people. It interrupts them. You think you'll decide when it's time to become stronger. You won't. Life decides. One phone call, one loss, one responsibility, one moment. That changes everything. And suddenly, the version of you that kept saying, I'll start tomorrow, doesn't exist anymore. Because tomorrow was taken away. Here's the terrifying part. The biggest moments of your life won't arrive when you're prepared. They'll arrive when you're comfortable, when you're distracted, when you're busy planning a completely different future. And that's why so many people break. Not because they're weak, because they believed life would give them a warning. It doesn't. One ordinary day becomes the day that changes your identity forever. So let me ask you something uncomfortable. If your entire life changed before tonight, would you be ready? Or would you realize you've been preparing for a future that no longer exists? Because before this video ends, you're going to understand the one truth almost nobody accepts. Life doesn't care if you're ready. It only cares that it's your turn. The lie you keep believing, almost everyone believes, that life will give you time to prepare, time to become disciplined, time to fix yourself, time to finally become the person you keep imagining you won't, because life doesn't interrupt you when you're ready. It interrupts you when you're comfortable. Read that again. Comfort is where reality likes to knock. Think about every major moment that changed your life. You didn't schedule it. You didn't prepare for it. It arrived without permission. And suddenly, the version of you that existed yesterday was no longer enough. That's why so many people collapse. Not because life is unfair, because they spend years preparing for the future instead of preparing themselves. There's a difference. Most people prepare their plans. Very few prepare their mind. That's why when reality changes, their plans disappear. And without those plans, they disappear too. Now ask yourself a question you've probably never asked before. If life changed today, who would remain? Your routines, your confidence, your identity? Or would everything fall apart the moment your comfort disappears? Because here's what nobody tells you. Strength isn't built when life becomes difficult. It becomes visible. The difficult moment doesn't create your character. It reveals the one you've been building every single day. And before you blame your circumstances. Now remember this, reality didn't expose your weakness. It exposed what you practiced. You keep preparing for the wrong day. You keep thinking the hardest day of your life will announce itself. It won't. It will look like every other day until it doesn't. Read that again. The day that changes your life usually begins like a normal Tuesday. That's why people miss it. They think transformation comes with warning signs. It doesn't. A phone rings, a door closes, someone leaves, a responsibility finds you, and in one moment, the person you were yesterday is no longer enough. Here's the question. Almost nobody asks, if life changed before sunset, who would show up? The disciplined version you keep imagining, or the comfortable version you've been rehearsing? Because that's who reality calls, not the person you wish to become, the person you've practiced being. That's why your daily choices matter more than your biggest dreams. Dreams don't answer when life calls. Identity does. Most people believe they're preparing for success. They're not. They're preparing for convenience. Everything is built around comfort, comfortable routines, comfortable thoughts, comfortable excuses, comfortable delays, until one day, life removes every comfort at once. And suddenly, they discovered they never built the person they thought they were. That's the tragedy. Not that life became hard, that it exposed a version of you. You spend years trying not to notice. Listen carefully. Reality never asks who you wanted to become. It reveals who you've already become. And once that moment arrives, there's no time to negotiate, no time to prepare, no time to become stronger. There's only the person you decided to build every ordinary day before that moment arrived. You've been preparing for the wrong future. Most people don't waste their future in one decision. They waste it by preparing for a life that doesn't exist. Read that again. You've been preparing for the future you wanted, not the future that was actually coming. That's why when reality changes, everything inside you falls apart. Not because life surprised you, because your identity was built on conditions. I'll be disciplined when life gets easier. I'll start when things calm down. I'll become stronger when I have more time. No, life was never going to become less demanding. It was waiting to see whether you would. Think about it. Every excuse you've ever made had one thing in common. It assumed the future would be kinder than today. But what if today was the easiest day you were ever going to get? What if this version of your life is already the simplest it will ever be? Would you still wait? Or would you finally understand that waiting was never a strategy? It was fear wearing the mask of preparation. That's why the strongest people don't prepare for perfect conditions. They prepare to remain themselves when conditions become imperfect. Because character isn't tested when life is easy. It's revealed the moment life stops asking permission. And when that day comes, you won't become someone new. You'll become exactly who you've been practicing every ordinary day. The person you needed was built yesterday. Here's the truth. Nobody wants to hear. The person who saves you during hard times isn't created. During hard times, he's created long before they arrive. Read that again. You don't become strong when life falls apart. You discover whether you built someone who could survive it. That's why discipline has never been about success. It's been about preparation. Preparation for a day you don't know is coming. Most people live as if they'll always have another chance, another morning, another paycheck, another opportunity, another tomorrow. Maybe, maybe not. Life never promised you another version of today. That's why waiting is the most dangerous decision you can make. Because every day you delay, you're betting that tomorrow will still exist, and life has never accepted that bet. Think about the people you admire. When pressure came, they didn't suddenly become disciplined. They simply revealed the habits they had practiced when nobody was watching. That's why ordinary days matter, not because they're exciting, because they decide who appears when extraordinary days arrive. Every promise you keep is another brick. Every excuse you repeat is another crack. You don't notice either one at first, until one day pressure arrives, and suddenly the house either stands or collapses. That's how identity works. Quietly, patiently. Every ordinary day is building the person who will eventually have to face an extraordinary one. So ask yourself a question. If life called your name today, would the version of you that answers be someone you've been proud to build, or someone you've been hoping you'd never have to become? Because life won't ask whether you're ready. It will only ask one thing: who's showing up? And on that day, you won't answer with your intentions. You'll answer with your identity. There's one sentence that has destroyed more lives than failure ever could. Not now. Read that again. Not now. 2 words, thousands of lost futures. Because every time you say, I'll do it later, you aren't delaying the action. You're delaying the person you could have become. Think about it. How many versions of yourself have already been abandoned? The one who was going to get in shape. The one who was going to build something. The one who promised this year would be different. They're all gone. Not because they failed, because you kept asking them to wait. Here's what most people never realize. Life doesn't punish procrastination. It replaces you. While you're waiting, someone else is learning. Someone else is growing. Someone else is becoming the person you keep imagining. Reality doesn't pause because you did. And that's the hardest truth to accept. You think you're standing still. You're not. The world keeps moving, and without you, every day you hesitate. The gap, it gets wider between who you are and who you could have been. Listen carefully. Life never asks whether you're ready. It asks whether you'll move before it's too late. Because one day, you'll wake up and realize you weren't waiting for the right moment. You were waiting for a moment that never existed. And that's how regret begins. Not with one massive mistake, but with 1,000 perfectly reasonable delays. That's why the strongest people don't trust their feelings. They trust their standards. Because feelings change every morning. Standards don't. So stop asking, when will life calm down? Ask something far more dangerous. If life never gets easier, who do I need to become? Because the answer to that question is the person your future has been waiting for all along. The life you want won't wait. There's something you still believe, something so dangerous and you've never questioned it. You believe your future will wait until you're ready. It won't. Read that again. The life you want isn't waiting for you. It's moving, with or without you, every single day, while you're thinking someone else is becoming, while you're planning someone else is practicing, while you're waiting someone else is winning. That's why time isn't your enemy. Delay is. Because delay feels harmless. One more day, one more week, one more chance, until suddenly the person you wanted to become feels impossible to recognize. Here's what should actually scare you. Not failure, adaptation. Because humans adapt to everything, even regret, even mediocrity, even a life they never wanted. That's the trap. You don't wake up one morning and decide to settle. You slowly become comfortable with less discipline, less courage, less ambition, less belief in yourself, until eventually your standards become smaller than your excuses, and that's the moment your future starts disappearing. Not because you lost your potential, because you lowered the price of your identity. Think about the version of yourself you admire. He isn't doing anything superhuman. He's simply refusing to negotiate with the person he promised to become. That's the difference. Not talent, not luck. Standards. Standards that remain the same, even when life doesn't. So ask yourself one final question before this video ends. If nothing changes, where will your current habits take you? Not your dreams, not your plans, your habits. Because habits always tell the truth. And if that future makes you uncomfortable, good. That discomfort isn't your enemy. It's reality asking you to wake up. Because life has already called your name. The only question is whether you're finally ready to answer. It's your turn. One day, you'll look back at this version of yourself and you'll realize everything could have changed right here Not because life became easier, because you finally stopped waiting for it to. Read that again. The day your life changes, and won't be the day life changes, it'll be the day you stop expecting it to. That's the difference. Weak people wait for certainty, and strong people become certainty because they understand something most people never do. Life doesn't reward the person who is ready. It rewards the person who moved before he was. Think about every version of yourself that never existed. The business you never built. The body you never created. The confidence you never earned. The life you never lived. None of them disappeared because you weren't capable. They disappeared because you kept believing there would always be another chance. Maybe there will, maybe there won't. Life never promised either one. That's why today matters. Not because it's perfect, because it's real. Tomorrow is only an idea. Today is a decision. And decisions build identities, not intentions, not motivation, not hope. Identity. The person who changes his life isn't the person who finally feels ready. He's the person who finally stops negotiating with reality. So before you leave this video, answer one question. Not for me, for yourself. If life called your name today, would the person you've been becoming be enough? If the answer makes you uncomfortable, don't ignore it. Because discomfort isn't always a warning. Sometimes it's an invitation to become the person life has been asking for all along. Remember this, life doesn't care if you're ready, but your future will always care whether you answered when it was your turn. So don't wait for another sign. This was the sign.